Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about the MacBook Air. Now, there's a lot of cool Macs coming out like the Mac Studio, and a lot of people have the M1 MacBook Pro and M1 MacBook Max. And I feel like it gives a lot of people FOMO and makes them feel like, man, maybe I should buy something nicer, or what do I need it? Like, what do I need? Should I buy more? And I'm not the most technical guy when it comes to benchmarks and all this stuff, so I feel like I do watch those videos and I kind of understand a little bit of it, but I'm not. I have to be honest. I don't have a deep knowledge of like the benchmarks, and I don't know what they mean and what that means for performance for me. So basically, what I want to do today is I want to show you a limitation of my M1 MacBook Air. Now, I shot a music video and I edited it on the Mac Mini. The internals of the base model M1 MacBook Air and M1 Mac Mini are very, very similar. I think one of the efficiency cores or performance cores is missing from the MacBook Air. So anyway, this is just a video to show you what kind of performance you can expect from a workflow such as music video editing. I do want to say, now this is pretty intensive, I think, like for my standards at least. Now it is 1080p footage, however, it is a multicam sequence, which means I shot it a bunch of times, right? And then I combine all of those 1080p footages into one clip so that I can switch between clips as if I were cutting different angles in live TV. In short, the computer has to, let's say, play 5 or 6 different 1080p video clips at once. And that can tax M1 MacBook. I wanted to say M1 MacBook Mini, now that would be cool. But that can start to make the M1 MacBook Air slow down a bit. So let's get into it. All right, so here's what we're working with. This is basically the timeline right here. And then on this side over here where I'm moving my mouse, my cursor, this is the switching I was telling you about. So all the little video clips you see in here, I think there's only 1, 2, 3, and 4 right here so far. They're all 1080p footage. So right now, for example, if I hit play, it's gonna try to play 4 streams of 1080p footage. And what else should I tell you? There's an adjustment layer. So there's a little bit of color grading going on, multicam sequence, and MP3, the actual song. So I'm just gonna play around with it so you can get a feel for, I guess, how smooth the playing of the timeline is. As you can see, we're playing at full. We can also bring this down if it's too taxing on the system. We can also create proxy files. Well, whatever, it's acting weird. Anyway, so here's the video, let me play it. Also, if you wanna watch this video in its entirety, like in its complete full form, check it out in the description down below. Sorry, a serious error has occurred that requires it to shut down. Wow, so to see, this is actually really good. I'm doing this. Don't send, I ain't no snitch. Okay, so there we go. There's an example of a real world, you know, something that can happen. I don't know if that was because of the system. I was trying to move the proxy files here and it wouldn't work. So it was acting kind of weird and it just worked right there. So I don't know if it's because the system was way taxed, but you know, while we can, let's play it. Looks a little like it dropped some frames there. Yeah, it's dropping frames. I don't know if you can tell. That was actually supposed to be a TV shot, but I don't know where I have that shot of the TV. Here, this will probably help you see how bad the playback is. So here's at full. So far so good. There we go. That's really bad. Drop frames. So, I mean, I just want to make this video so you can kind of see an example of a workload that would be too much for the M1 MacBook Air. And this is a base configuration, so it's 8 gigs of RAM, right? 256 gigs of storage. Because a lot of times we hear these benchmarks and we hear about how amazing these chips are, and they are, don't get me wrong. But they do have some limitations, and here's one of them. And to be fair, it's playing at full capacity. It's still awesome that There's no fans in this machine, so it's dead silent. It's awesome. And look, it's actually playing back pretty cool. Not too much issue here. A little bit. I believe that black screen was on purpose. Because there were graphic titles that we had that I just don't have with me. As you can see, it picked up, it's doing just fine. Another thing I should probably note is that I noticed there are no selected source clips. So let's see if let's say I want to see what is actually being cut. Now you see right here, show you. So this is the window enlarged. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I lost count. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 streams. So if I leave this open, I wonder if it will probably, that's probably what will slow it down. Yeah, I can already tell the playhead is choppy. So when this source clip is open and it's playing all those multiple videos at the same time, it will slow down the computer. See how laggy it is? Okay, now that's at full. We don't necessarily need to have that open. As you saw when I didn't have it open, it played just fine. And this is at full quality. Now I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna change the quality to, let's bring this to about half. And you might say, it's acting funny. I don't know if it's me or if it's acting a little funny. So this is the point of these videos. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I have a feeling it is struggling because of the multi-clip sequence. So I changed this to one video. Now let me see. No, it's still acting funny. I'm not too sure what to do about this. I've never encountered this issue. Wow. Okay, well, I'm gonna save this and reopen it, I guess. Okay, we're back. Let's see if I can bring this back down to half. Oh, look at that, it works. So I'm gonna bring it back to half. I'm going to open up the other videos right here on that left side, as you can see. And you might ask yourself, well, why would you need to have all those open while you are editing? Like, isn't that a bit absurd? It is a bit absurd, but like I said, it's a very efficient way to edit music videos. When you have this playing on the left-hand side, actually it's gonna be in the center, but when you have it playing, you can just click, 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 and cut to the exact shot you want. And you can edit or get at least like a baseline of the edit, a rough draft you could say, very quickly by doing that. So that's why you would want that, and that's a use case on why you would want something like that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna play it 0.5% with all these clips on the side. Oh, and these are actually full. I have a feeling it's gonna struggle, but we'll see. Okay, you can see it's still struggling a lot. And keep in mind that this type of stuttering really does matter, because when doing something like editing music videos, a lot of it comes down to timing. So if it's laggy, it's gonna mess up your timing. Let's bring these clips down to half and let's continue the playback. Let's see how that affects things. I can still see some drop frames. Let me help you see this better. Doesn't look too bad. Well, yeah. You see, it's not too bad, but it's also not perfect. You would want it better. So what I ended up doing, and this was even on my Mac Mini, M1 Mac Mini, I think I just had it at 1/4, and I think that fixed most of my problems. I don't think that was perfect. What do I have on this? Oh, okay, that's the adjustment layer. So this is with graphics. So I honestly think this is pretty impressive, to be honest. Okay, it's a light color editing, light color grading. So it's like a stylistic color on the video, which does affect your performance on your computer. So it's we got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got these 7 clips of 1080p footage playing in a timeline with some transition. I see some cross dissolve, some dips to blacks, and some color grading. Now it's not too crazy, the color grading and the transitions, but I would say that the 1080p footage on the left-hand side that I keep referring to over there, all those streams of footage, it is very taxing and pretty abnormal, I think, for just the average person. So they're both at 1/4. I'm pretty sure this is how I edited the video. I'm still seeing some drop frames, but you gotta remember, what if I turn off the color grade? Let's see how that affects things. Okay, let's fast forward. Let's play here. See something a little different, something new. It's still struggling a bit. Again, it's not too bad. So at this point, no, now I remember. At this point, we brought this down to 1/4, let's say, and this to 1/4, and let's say you want to do what I was saying, and you want to click from clip to clip to clip to edit the music video, you would have to make proxy files. And from what I remember, that solved my issues. It's just another process. So what that means, if you don't know, is basically you take the full resolution of the footage and the quality, and you downgrade it. So you downgrade it so that it's flexible and easier to manipulate inside of Premiere Pro. So you have very small files to work with. And then when you want to export the footage, you need to relink the original footage so that it exports at full quality. So it's just a nicer, smaller video file to work with. But you have to make those, and those take time. And from what I remember, I think it took, like, for this project to do, don't quote me on this, but I think it was like 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, something like that. So basically you would create proxy files, and then you would click on this little thing here to enable the proxy files, and that would solve most of my issues. So even so, there is a workaround. I just wanted to give you an example of one limitation of this M1 MacBook Air, and the fact that I've had to come to these extremes to make it slow down. I think it says a lot about the machine. It's very impressive, especially when you consider its price point. And yeah, like I said, it's not a M1 Pro, it's not an M1 Max. But for example, if you did get an M1 Max or a Pro, I would suspect that with the extra power in the graphics performance and the RAM, that you might not even have to make proxy files on something like this, and you might be able to play it at full resolution. So what that would mean for you is you would be able to just get working immediately on something like Premiere Pro. So there was one example of a limitation of the M1 MacBook Air. Now remember, this can easily be mitigated by either A, not having so many videos playing at once, right? You can shoot, if you're shooting a music video, you can shoot less takes, maybe 2 per shot. That would simplify things, so you only have 2 video footage, 2 clips running at the same time. And you can use proxy files. Now, from what I remember, using proxy files was way better. Now, it wasn't perfect, but it was way better, especially when you consider that if you use like more graphics, like if you want to have more special effects and stuff like that, this music video was super light on those things. So I think that's why it was just fine for me to just use proxies. But do keep in mind that if you want to do more special effects, video effects, and just stuff like that, you're probably going to want more power from the M1 Pro or M1 Max or Ultra, right? That's the new one. So yeah, I just wanted to show, hey, this base model M1 chip, it has limitations, believe it or not. But yeah, still super impressive for the money. And you could probably still get it done. It's just you have to find workarounds like proxy files or changing the way you shoot something. But if you don't want those limitations and you don't want to like wait to be making proxy files, that's where the value of the M1 Max and Pro chips and above come into place. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'm not too big on benchmarks. I'm mostly because I don't understand them. Now, if I did understand them, I would be big on benchmarks. What can I say? But that's a real world performance. And as you saw, it was a little frustrating because like the Premiere started acting weird. So I don't know if that's a compatibility issue. I kind of feel like my MacBook Air was just at its limit and just crashed. Whoops, sorry. So that's it for the video. If you like the video, don't forget to like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And if you want to treat yourself to something nice, check out the link, my Amazon link in the description down below. It'll link you to a product, most likely like a MacBook Air or something, but you can buy whatever you want. It really helps support the channel. And that's been it. That's it for today. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.